I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hey, hip hop evolution, hip hop evolution. It's your girl Angele.
Oh, she's gonna rock
And
it.
it is season 4 finale episode 4. And we're doing hip hop and there will be no more because it's the last show, guys. Hey, guys, I'm your host, Angele Taylor. I have my hip hop enthusiast with me, Kenneth Ware.
Yo, what's up? I love that intro.
I know,
What's up?
right?
good.
So
It was
much
good.
energy coming out of LA traffic. And we have our beautiful Ebone here, looking all urban chic.
Right. Hello.
Yes. Okay, guys, we finally made it to our season finale, and we have so much to cover. We're going to talk about 50 Cent, T.I., Lil Wayne, DJ Cannon, DJ Drama. We're going to talk about the drama. It's about to get nice and juicy, and we also have some news and gossip for you, so hang tight. Okay, so it opens up crazy, right? How did you guys feel about this final episode?
It opened up like a Fed case.
It did,
it was
right?
Just like, ooh, we went from hip hop evolution to the Feds.
I was like, who did they raid? What happened? I was like so plugged in the moment that it came on. What about you, Ebony?
Yeah, no, completely. And then, because, we hear about DJ Drama all the time. So we're like arrested. I mean, I had no idea that he had, like, there was even an issue with the rating, any of that. I had no idea. So I was like, what happened? And then we go back and we kind of build up to the story. But I thought all three people that we talked about in this episode were very interesting. Like, their stories were told well. And
Yes.
I learned a lot of things.
I love this little Netflix series because it's like a hip hop history lesson, right?
Yes.
It is.
And then you realize it's such a small industry. Like, this person's connected to that person that's connected to that person, and this person is the reason why that person got on. And it's just amazing now that I'm able to connect dots and understand where these people are from, which informs their type of music. I feel so enlightened. Don't you guys
more
feel
connected,
enlightened?
more connected to the artist. I love it.
Absolutely. So let's get into 50 Cent, our controversial rapper, even today, as he loves to troll. And 50, he is definitely one for the books because he revolutionized mixtapes. They said that he pretty much kicked off the whole mixtape movement because he took radio rap and just basically turned mixtape rap and put it on the radio. And so many people followed suit. And he was the guy that brought a gun to school, and he was the troublemaker. And he even got blacklisted before he even blew up because he was that rapper that got shot 9 times.
Right.
And DJ Master J, Jam Master J, excuse me, he brought 50 on, like he gave him a chance. So tell me what you guys felt about 50 saying like how he began, like how he even got out there.
He was definitely revolutionary, but he changed the way mixtapes were because at first you had like Funkmaster Flex, like those were the faces of the mixtapes. But then he switched it up and was like, no, I'm going to put out these freestyles. And he started trolling a very long time ago.
Exactly.
With how to rob. Like everybody
How to
was
rob the rappers.
everybody was like, bro, is he gonna rob me for real?
Right.
But he got everybody talking about him. So whether you liked him, you hated him, you knew who 50 Cent was before he was even a big star. So he knew how to get people talking about him.
Yeah, I mean, I think the saying goes like no media or no attention is bad attention, right?
Right.
So I think in 50's case, this is definitely his reality. He definitely came out the gate, like you said, just kind of putting fire under people's butts already and kind of, didn't care. And I think that was the defining moment for him. And even everyone who talked about him was like, he just didn't give an F. He didn't care about what people thought about him. And I think even though it scared people away, it made his music more interesting, more raw, more enticing. Like, I think he had to do it himself. But,
Right.
People started to recognize the talent as soon as he started with Dr. Dre and Eminem.
Did you realize the parallel between his story and Kanye West's story? about being shot in the jaw and having to rap through that tension, through that pain. And I mean, did you see some parallels drawn there?
It was some parallels with like the accident and the shooting. Definitely sometimes, God will sit you down so that you can kind of figure things out. So
Speak
I
on
think
it.
that was preach. But that was like a moment where, 50, he was shot 9 times and he was basically blacklisted before he was even a star.
Yeah,
just
before
because
he was
nobody
even
was.
popping. Nobody wanted to deal with him.
They were scared to work with him.
Yeah, scared. And then on top of that, they were like, you're just so annoying. Like, you're such a troublemaker. Like, we don't want that over here on our label or even being associated with that because no one's going to want to work with us if we sign you,
And then Shaw Money brought him into his good graces, into his home, and allowed him to make music from the basement. And that's when they were dropping mixtapes. And then soon, 50 became a household name. And it's just crazy how Shaw Money was the catalyst for 50 Cent. And I was reading one of the articles in 2015 said that they actually got into it. And so I was very interested to know, like, of course, every time they get into it, it's over money. So it was just kind of interesting to see the dynamic of those two over time, how someone who kind of made you, you're even able to get into it with them. Like, so much is owed to Shaw Money. Me personally, I think that, they were able to work it out, and that's why he's on here talking very nicely about 50, because people are able to overcome money differences.
At the end of the day, I think when it comes to music or business period, especially when you're, your business partner at that point almost becomes like your friend. And so I think it is very common that you start falling out over money because you start feeling like, I'm doing this, I'm better, my name's out there, I'm the face of this, so I should either be getting paid more or you should be getting paid less or whatever the situation is, right? So I feel like once you start getting that little stardom, you do start to get a little bit of an ego.
When you elevate, we all supposed to eat, Right. I mean, that's like the golden rule.
That's how it's supposed to be. But, I feel like some people don't always stick to that.
And I mean, he started in his basement, and one thing we've seen with Hip Hop Evolution, like you really see that a lot of these rappers started off in somebody's basement or recording in their bathroom.
Yes.
I mean, Shay let him bring G Unit to his basement. He said they had G Unit. He said they had guns everywhere.
Yes.
They had, he was like, my baby mama couldn't even come to the basement because it was so much.
Y'all, I know for sure I could not be up in that basement because I would be scared. They said they got bulletproof vests and guns on the table and smoking weed and doing all this mess. Listen, that is so not my scene. I would have been
Target
like,
50.
Somebody get me out of here.
Come on, Malibu. Come on, Malibu.
Not Malibu.
This is Malibu's Most Wanted.
So 50 came out with this album, one of his first, 50 Cent is the Future, and it was the producer was sorry guys, Shaw Money XL, sorry.
Yes.
And so Shaw just basically was like, this was like the blue magic of the streets, like. And then Canal Street became the hub for all mixtapes, and then that quickly got shut down. Like, FBI came in and shut all the mixtape spots down, and everyone was arrested. And I forgot what they said. They said that they were arrested because it was like a failure to disclose the origin of the recording. So what do you think about that?
I mean, the copyright laws are the laws. So mixtapes, I mean,
violate every single one in the book.
Every single one.
Every single law in the book.
And I've been to Canal Street. I mean, that's where you go get the little fake Louis. The
did
fake
you get
Gucci.
anything? Any mixtapes from Canal Street?
I did not buy anything.
I don't believe anything.
Don't pick them up, guys. Come
Street.
on, let's pick them up.
I don't believe anything he's saying at all.
And then T.I. was able to emerge into the fold of being one of the mixtape icons. But before we get into T.I., we have something to hear from Miss Ebone.
Yes, of course. You guys, thank you so much for making us the ESPN of TV talk. We love to talk to you about our opinions, the things that we think about, as much as you guys like to hear them. So please comment below, join the conversation. We love to hear what you have to say, your opinions, your favorite songs. I know we're talking about hip hop, so let us know where you stand. And if you aren't able to watch us or you don't have time, you can always listen on Spotify and on iTunes to make sure you give us that 5-star rating.
Hey.
Yes. Okay. So we hope to hear from you soon.
We will hear from you guys. Jump into the comments and let us know what you think about these artists. And if you have any extra information that we should know about, definitely hit us in the comments. So T.I. comes to the scene with his southern drawl, and his East Coast flair, and he was just a force to be reckoned with. Like, he invented the trap music, right? And he was discovered by DJ Toomp. And may I add, DJ Toomp is very attractive. Let's just say that.
Shoot your shot, honey. Shoot your shot.
He's married, but I'm just putting that out there. Like, oh, okay, you cute or whatever. But anyway, so T.I. came from his grandma's house, which was kind of like lower middle class, to his mama's house, which was like Section 8 housing, and he really struggled as he grew up into manhood, and he's so dope, and they made music in the trap house. And I mean, what do you think about being raised in that type of culture, going from grandma's house to mama's house and having like to create your own way?
I mean, he said like when he was 15, like instead of the clubhouse became the trap house. So instead of them outside playing football, basketball, or whatever, they selling that work through ATL.
Buddy.
And he was like, we did that every single day,
Yeah,
because he did not want his mom's lights to get turned off.
Yeah.
And it was interesting to also see that how somebody plugged him with the music and was like, hey, somebody up there got a studio because you got these flows or whatever.
DJ Toomp's house.
DJ Toomp's house. And it's like, I can just see T.I. because he was like, hey,
Right.
man, you got a studio?
Right.
Like,
I know that he's so little.
Right. I mean, he's little now, but I mean,
Right,
imagine
that
when he was
part.
15.
He was really little.
Right. Exactly.
He was skinny T.I.
skinny
now
mini.
he got some grown men weight on him.
Yeah, he does. You know, T.I., I have had the pleasure to be in the same room with T.I. during an interview, and I have to say that man is very attractive. He definitely drips money, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you could just tell when somebody has money, and I was, like, mesmerized the whole time. When he left, all the people were, like, making fun of me because they were like, you were drooling. I was like, stop it. But I think T.I., and I think what's dope is that with even all these artists, right, that they're able to kind of create a sound that's all their own, which is why it made them different and why they stood out as like the creator of trap, the creator of mixtapes, the creator of this, because they did something different than any other person that was doing it before.
Right.
And so, because while I was watching it, I was trying to figure out like, wow, like, I mean, there's a million rappers, like, I'm sure we know 10 already, trying to make it in the game. And it's like, what exactly made them stand out so much to be where they are now, right?
Absolutely.
So it was like having a unique sound and also running into those right people, having
At the
connections
right time.
at the right time, having those DJs with the connections, having being able to push it, having momentum, having like a team, if that makes sense.
Yes,
Yeah,
a really tight network. And even one of his songs flopped, but like to them, as long as it made it out to the street and people knew knew who his name was.
Right.
I mean that's really all it takes. Is like word of mouth travels faster than any other marketing source. So as long as he got his music out to the streets, the hood people are knocking it, then it's going to flood in other neighborhoods. It's going to reach other cities, and it's going to be a thing of like a household movement.
And what's crazy,
and that's quickly what he became.
Absolutely, because just even hearing what you're saying, it's like once you kind of get the streets behind it, it becomes popular. DJs and radio stations, you want to be the hottest.
Yes.
You want to have the hottest. So if everyone's talking about this artist or talking about this song, like you want to be the first to release it on the radio. So that's another way again how they became
and
popular.
T.I. and 50 Cent, neither one of them gave up. I mean, T.I. was signed to LaFace Records. I did not know that, and it's like,
Isn't that a weird combo?
Face had TLC. You
Right.
had Tony Braxton,
Babyface.
Babyface. And it's like they didn't know what to do with T.I.
Like, sit down.
Right.
He's like, you talking about
It's a
all
whole
this
nother
drug stuff.
genre.
Like,
Yeah.
So, but one door closes, another one opens. Because even with 50 Cent,
And it
like, he did
did.
not give up. And he kept
Yeah.
pushing. So that was I'm glad they shared that story on this episode as well.
Yeah, so T.I. went from L.A. Reid to Atlantic Records and got a joint venture. And, I mean, the rest is history.
Yeah, that story is funny too, because he was like, "All right, LA, I need $1 million," and he was like, "Bet I'm gonna give you what you want. I'm gonna let you go."
Bye!
Bye. And then he was like,
Bye-bye.
Yeah, he was like, that was not what I was expecting to hear. And then ends up getting $2 million from Atlantic. So it was
Yes.
like, you know what? You're always blocked. Don't block your blessings.
Don't block
Yes.
your blessings
Yeah.
and keep it moving. And we're going to keep it moving to Lil Wayne and
Yes.
his quick little come up. So we know he's from New Orleans, and we talked a lot about Cash Money on the other episode. And Lil Wayne is my favorite, and I'm sure he's most of America's favorite. He has been dubbed like the rap god now. And I really feel like there could be a rap university led by him because he's so good with this American English language, how he puts these metaphors together. Like, he is just dope in every aspect. He's highly intelligent, even though he's mainly under the influence as he's creating. And when he's not creating, he's still like a musical genius. How do you feel, Ebone, about Lil Wayne?
You know, the funny thing is I feel like, again, I did not understand Lil Wayne's like rap style. It's not necessarily like, ooh, you let me go put on a little Wayne. Like, that's not me. However, I have heard so many stories about Lil Wayne because I'm into just like history and stories and the industry. So I've heard, when he was 14 and then like all the songs he was featured on and then became like his own, like kind of stepped up when Cash Money was kind of going under. Like before this episode that I've watched, like I know other things about him, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think as it stands, he is definitely a creator, someone who is pushing the needle. I mean, 77 songs in 1 year.
Sickness.
You know what I'm like?
Sickness.
It's the people that
Beast.
work the hardest are the ones that, end up getting to the level that all these artists have been to. So it's like you can't knock the hustle.
And yeah, he was an overlooked child star. And like you said, when Juvenile left Cash Money, Manny Fresh was like, hey, man, you got to step up. And I mean, he took that, he stepped up and stepped
Out.
out.
Right. Yeah.
So the underlying theme for this episode seems to be how the DJs really propelled these rap artists forward. Because we have 50 Cent with Jam Master Jay being discovered. And then we have T.I. with DJ Toon being discovered in that way.
Right.
And then now we have Lil Wayne, and he's discovered by DJ Drama.
Yes.
He needed a DJ drama beat to be heard because he just needed that reputation, and he knew that his rap style would be contagious enough to spread like wildfire, and it did. And it really served him.
Yeah, he totally changed the mixtape business model with him and his collaboration with DJ Drama. I mean, those dedication mixtapes are hip-hop classics. I mean, like they said, those people consider those better than his albums. And I know I was jamming all those mixtapes. I mean, there's just so many. I mean, it's like,
And then they
when
hit
does
the
he sleep?
radio, so it's
Yes.
like, this is industry music.
Right.
Like,
Exactly.
there's really like a blurred, like they created this blurred line between what makes it to radio and what stays on the street. Because now we're hearing a little bit of everything on these radios. Like,
Yes.
I literally have to like tell my kids, you better not learn the lyrics to that song. Because it is just crazy. Everybody, there's no cap on your artistic expression now.
Right.
And it's because of these trailblazers, 50, T.I., and Lil Wayne.
Yes. They changed the game with mixtapes. And I mean, that became the new norm in hip-hop. So salute to those three.
Right. It still is, right?
Yeah.
So, DJ Drama and DJ Cannon, their studio was raided.
Yes.
And they were arrested. And it was a sad scene in the hip-hop world. And that's when they started shutting down all the mixtape spots and everything. Tell me, if you were going through this with them, like what would have been your reaction to hear like anybody with mixtapes gets confiscated by the FBI, like, what would be your reaction?
It was very, to see the footage of people just on Canal Street being arrested, and they're like, they didn't know what was happening.
Like, what is
They're
going
just
on?
like,
I've
I'm
been
just
doing
trying-
this every day for the past 3 years. What are you doing?
Right.
Exactly. So to see that, it was very terrifying. However, the big point they made was that the music industry album sales started dropping, and they weren't having that. And I mean, the copyright laws are the laws, so they just used that to their advantage and like, hey, we're gonna shut this down because y'all are making too much money and we're not making any money.
That
Yeah.
part.
Shut it down.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's honestly what I was thinking about when I was watching it. I was like, nobody was checking for it when it was just a little like street thing, whatever. But it was like as soon as it started affecting, big corporations, whatever, the white money, then they wanted to be like,
That part.
That part.
they wanted to be like, let me figure out how we can stop this situation, So it was like,
Exactly.
yeah, okay, you didn't care, but now you care. Oh, okay.
So one of the most funniest parts that stood out to me was David Banner's interview when he said he wanted 5 stacks for a beat that he gave T.I., but he had no clue it would take off in the way it did. He took $2,500 for it, and it became like a household hood anthem,
Yes.
Rubber Band Man.
Yeah.
That was his beat.
Right.
Like, how would you behave if you knew that you sold this beat for $2,500 and it made somebody millions?
Right. But this is the thing. He did say that, he would have kept it for himself if he knew. But, I mean, again, maybe if he kept it, it wouldn't have been the song that it actually was. You know what I'm saying? It wouldn't have
of
been the
course
hit. My thing is, he did say that that song made him a platinum producer.
Yes.
And so even though maybe it seemed like he sold himself short on the money he got, like T.I. said, I'm going to return this to you in a way that you'll never forget.
Right.
And he did that. He delivered on his word. And so, like 5,000 or like platinum selling producer, it's like everyone wants a David Banner song. I remember when everyone, like every song on the radio was literally produced by David Banner. Like he had Chris Brown, he had the whole cast, he had everybody. Like he was like David Banner, like every song. So, I mean, it worked out in his favor. I don't think he's crying about it now.
And it's like really knowing that sometimes you can't give money on the front end, but I can get it on the back end because
That
he
part.
definitely made that money. He got that $2,500 because he believed in T.I.
Yes.
And he was like, you know what? Go ahead, take it. He definitely made that money back 100 times over and made him a platinum producer, which propelled his career. So
Big
that
ups.
was big ups to him.
Big ups to David Banner, to T.I. for taking it that far. Like, this whole thing is just crazy amazing and it's very inspiring. This whole documentary is inspiring. These are true rags to riches stories, and it makes you feel like you could do anything and you can be anything. And that's what Kanye West was saying. Like, he was the one person that nobody wanted to listen to rap. It's like, but you a dope. Like, you're a great producer. We love your beats. Like, everything is just dope about the way you can hear music, but you don't have to rap it.
Right.
And then now everyone wants him to rap. Everyone loves all of his music. So I think that's really dope. And when it came down to Death to Mixtapes, it came the birth of streaming.
Yes.
And now everyone streams everything. When did you start streaming, Kenneth?
So I probably started streaming in high school. Oh, well, downloading music. Like he mentioned,
Right.
like people would have it on the blogs and you would download it, make your own little
Yeah.
special
Little
mixtape.
Yeah.
playlist.
Had your little
Right.
playlist, your little,
Right.
your little F action if you was in Texas.
Oh, right. Oh, my God.
Took it
You
back,
just
took
took
it
me
back.
back.
Took it back,
Nobody
took it back.
knows about that F action, though.
Yeah, no, see, I don't know
Chopped
about
and screwed,
that.
You
though.
better get your song.
Chopped and screwed. What about you, Ebone? When did you start?
Yeah, I would
streaming?
say like it was like middle school where we had LimeWire and BearShare and all that stuff that
Oh
we were
my
like downloading
gosh.
music off of, or even like maybe buying on iTunes, songs because you had to buy them back in the day,
Right.
and So I would say it would start as, early as middle school. And now it's like such a bigger thing where like now instead of like buying every song, you just buy a subscription every month. Then you can download whatever you want And that the streams revenue give money. It's like revenue now. Right. That's how they count their, instead of record sales,
the value of a song is based on the streams now, which is really dope.
So it's such a different, like 20 years ago, even 10 years ago, like it's such a different time for the record label, for music, period.
Absolutely. So we're going to get into our news and gossip, and we have that with Mr. Kenneth Ware.
Yes. So Lil Weezy F Baby, he is dropping a new project called Funeral, which will drop in February. The track list has been released, but we're going to wait to see what Lil Weezy is bringing in 2020. Also, 50 Cent, Mr. Troll Man himself, will be receiving a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame this week. Yes, so he joins rappers.
I thought he already had a star. He's been around for a minute.
Yeah, you know how they be stretching it all the way out. They be stretching all the way out
for certain types of people.
Right.
Yeah.
So he joins Snoop.
So she done went
we
there.
We get our stars 10 minutes after the effect.
So he's joined Snoop Dogg, LL Cool J, Cypress Hill, and other rappers that have made that transition, from rapping and acting, and of course with Power and everything that he's doing.
Oh yeah,
also, he
he's
has
a
new
powerhouse.
Show. Right, he has the new show For Life on ABC. Produced by his company. So 50 Cent is still making things happen. And also, after Kobe Bryant's death, he revealed that he will no longer be trolling.
And we will see how long that lasts.
Yeah.
I hope so. But
moment of silence for Kobe, Gianni, and the victims of the helicopter crash.
Yes. So tragic, devastating. It's still unbelievable. 2 days later, it still hurts just as much.
It does. And like we spend so much energy on talking about Kobe and his family, but is so many other families that were also affected, like the daughters playmates on the basketball team and their parents, it's unbelievable. And that just goes to show, it's one of those reflective things where nobody's invincible.
Right.
Nobody is.
That is such a real moment. Like, somebody that's supremely on top can come down. And that's just wow.
And one thing that was that's just legendary about Kobe is he was considered an underdog. And just like with all these rappers, they were considered underdogs. So, it's just very powerful to see, just living in your purpose, and when you're putting in that work and doing what you love to do, and you just keep pushing forward, because 50 Cent didn't give up, T.I. didn't give up, Lil Wayne didn't give up, and of course, Kobe, he kept it going for 20 years with the Lakers. Salute.
Someone has a torn Achilles and is in there doing free throw shots.
Yes.
Has a broken arm, still, practicing. So it's don't let anything stop you.
Absolutely. So much potential came down in that helicopter, because I'm just thinking what his daughter would have been. It's wow. Sorry, guys. I have to end it on a somber note, but we definitely needed that time to reflect on Kobe and the victims of the helicopter crash. But that has been the season finale of Hip Hop Evolution. My name is Angele Taylor, and you can find me on Instagram at AngeleTaylor_. Kenneth, where can we find you?
On all platforms, Kenneth Ware. Look for me.
And Ebone.
And you can find me on Twitter and on Instagram at Ebone Chatman 12.
Until next season, we'll see you later. Bye.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.